This sequence is for the Vata dosha. Vatas do best with grounding yoga practices. Practices should be done without stress. So we're going to start by sitting. If you'd like to sit on a rolled blanket, you can do that, or just sitting down on your mat and bringing the bottoms of the feet together to touch and hands coming together at the heart, just taking a moment to come into your breath. Set an intention for your practice. Feel yourself sitting on the earth. And then if you'd like to change positions with your legs, feel free to. We're going to come into a single nostril breath. We'll be inhaling through the left nostril, which is grounding and sedating, and exhaling through the right. So you're using your right hand. Your thumb and your index finger will be used to close the right and the left nostril. Inhale through the left. Exhale through the right. The mouth stays closed in this breath. And this breath is perfect for those busy Vata minds. And the breath shouldn't be forced. They're very easy. Inhale through the left, full breaths. And then complete exhales through the right. So the Vata dosha does best for a yoga practice, does best in the mornings. But if you notice that in the evenings you have a hard time settling down to go to sleep, maybe doing this practice before bed. So whatever feels most suitable for you. So you're continuing this breath, and I recommend trying this breath anytime during the day when you feel like you're having a really hard time focusing. Inhaling through the left and exhaling through the right with your mouth closed, and your spine stays very long. Letting your shoulders be heavy. Trying to release any tension in your upper body, and then when you're ready, release. Take a few breaths in through the nose, out through the nose. And we're going to move into Ujjayi breath, gently narrowing the throat passage as you breathe in and out through your nose. And the narrowing of the throat passage creates a wind or a whisper-like sound with your breath. And we'll use that breath throughout the entire practice. If you want to know more about Ujjayi breath, you can contact Yvette or read about it. There's lots of different sites that describe Ujjayi breath. And coming to hands and knees, take a moment to move the wrists around. We're going to be on our hands and knees, so pointing and flexing, circling the wrists. And if you need a blanket beneath your knees for extra support, go ahead and have that. If not, then just knees down on the mat. It's fine. And we're going to move through cat-cow, rounding and arching the back. So the movement starts at the tailbone. You exhale, curling the tailbone down and under, getting round. And on the inhale, you curl the tailbone up and back behind you, letting your head look forward. Exhale, curling the tailbone down and under, rounding your back. Inhaling, curling the tailbone up and back behind you, allowing your whole spine to arch, pulling the shoulders away from the ears, maybe looking forward. Exhaling, curling the tailbone down and under, squeezing your sits bones together. You can do this really, really slow. In fact, the slower, the better. Great for grounding and really starting to bring that focus and attention into your spine. Following your breath, it's so important. Maybe sitting back toward the heels. I'm going to change it up a little bit, rolling the weight through the forearms as you straighten the arms and push yourself up. Exhale, curl, tailbone, sit back. Inhale, rolling the weight through the forearms, straightening the arms, pressing yourself up to arch. Exhale, curling the tailbone down and under to get round. And then pausing in child's pose. Noticing your breath, keeping your breaths long and deep. And start to climb yourself back up. And if you have anything on your mat, now is a good time to remove it. We're going to come to standing. So either the legs and feet together, or they can be hip width distance apart. However, different people have different preferences as far as the stability is concerned in standing. So either feet and legs hip width distance, or taking them together to touch. Lengthening the spine. Pausing here in mountain pose with the hands at the heart. Maybe the eyes are closed, really rooting down through the feet. Grow your roots through the bottoms of your feet down into the earth. Wrap them around the earth so that you know that you're so stable. Feeling your connection with earth. And when you're ready, release. We're going to come into tree pose variation. So I'm going to choose to take the bottom of my right foot to the inside of my left ankle. And that's just enough balance. If you want more, you can take that leg up to the inside of your left shin or the calf, or you can take that leg above the knee up into the inner thigh. But you want to make sure that you feel stable, but there's balance going on. So sometimes taking the leg up too high, it's too much thinking. We want to minimize that. So standing really tall and grounded in your tree pose. Hands are at the heart. And then when you're ready, release. And preparing for the other side. An important thing to remember during, especially the balance, actually the entire practice, but this is common in balance, is to hold the breath. And try to hold the breath the entire time you're balancing, but let go of that and allow the breath to flow. And it's okay if you rock or sway a little bit from side to side. It's your body's way of trying to balance. Maybe looking somewhere out in front of you, a spot on the wall, somewhere where you can focus your eyes. I recommend not looking straight down at the floor. If you want to look a little bit away towards you or away from you and down, that's fine, but not straight down. And releasing out of that. We're going to prepare now for Warrior One. Right foot steps forward, left foot steps back. And the right foot, the toes are pointing straight forward, so is the knee. And the back foot, the left foot, the toes are pointed out the same direction as that back knee is facing. So turn around and look at it, just make sure. And I'm going to place a blanket underneath my back heel. Sometimes if the backs of the legs are really tight, it's hard to get that back heel down on the floor. So I'm using a blanket. And I'm bending that right leg. So either lining up that right knee over the ankle, or it can be slightly behind the ankle, just as long as it's not in front of the ankle. And then inhaling the arms up. And then allowing the breath to flow. as you allow yourself to be held in Warrior One. And then hands to the heart, stepping forward to the front of the mat. Resetting here, listening to the sound of your Ujjayi breath, and then preparing for the other side. I think the blanket was a little bit too high for my heel, so I'm adjusting. And so left foot forward, right foot steps back, and again your back foot is turned out about 45 degrees, but just look at where your knee is facing on that back leg. And then the front leg, you want to make sure the knee is facing forward. The knee has the tendency to want to turn in toward the midline. Open it up. That will help to keep your knee safe. And then taking the arms all the way up. You don't have to lift the hands. You can have the hands at the heart. Especially if you have stuff going on with the shoulders and the neck. Have the hands at the heart. Root down through the feet. And then slowly coming out. So during a sequence for balancing Vata, any yoga sequence that you're doing, you can hold these poses longer, but just make sure that you don't hold them to the point of getting stressed or distracted. Once you start getting distracted and you can't come back to focusing on the breath, then it's time to get out. So now we're moving into a side angle pose, and we start in Warrior Two, so taking a wide stance. Your body faces the wide side of your mat. Your back foot is turned out about 45 degrees, and then arms are out at shoulder height. Take a full breath in on the exhale, leaning your upper body forward, resting the forearm on the thigh. And the opposite hand can reach diagonally over the head. You can have it straight up. You want to feel length in the fingertips all the way down to the outer edge of that back foot. And then when you're ready, you're going to switch sides and prepare. So I always like starting in Warrior Two. Putting weight in the outer edge of that back foot, making sure that my front knee is not collapsing in, but it's open. And you can even use that forearm that you're resting down on the thigh, you can use it to open up that knee. And the hand can rest on the waist, and you can open up that shoulder. You can have it up and over the head. You can turn to look up. You can look forward. You can look down. Keep the shoulders down away from the ears and get length. Feel that length from the fingertips all the way down to the outer edge of that back foot. And then when you're ready, come on up. And we're going to prepare for a forward fold here. Inhaling the arms up, rooting down through the feet. Exhale, folding forward. Bending your knees maybe, especially if this is the morning, go ahead and bend the knees and let the head drop down. So you're folding from your hip crease, which is so important. You never want to fold from the middle of your back. So that's why I'm adjusting. Every time you get some space, you can adjust. Hands can be on blocks, they can be on a chair. You can do this against the wall, but just don't fold forward. You can have the hands on the wall and walk your feet back so that you're in an L shape. And that's a great fold alternative as well. And coming down, we're going to prepare for our next pose, Hero's Pose. And I'm going to use a blanket to sit underneath my buttocks. And if you can have your buttocks all the way down to the floor without the support of anything, go ahead and do that. If not, roll a blanket or a towel. And you have to roll the calves out if they're nice and meaty. Go ahead and roll those out. And you're not sitting on your heels. Your feet are out. Tops of the feet are on the floor or the mat. And if you are sitting on something, it's more toward the back of the buttocks. And sitting up really tall, root down through those sits bones as you climb up through the spine. And I'm taking my arms back behind my head to open up the shoulders. If the knees can't come together in the front, that's okay. Separate them slightly. This is great for encouraging circulation and blood flow into the knees, the ankles, and the feet. It's great for bringing back arches in the feet. So now I'm taking my arms back behind me and interlacing my fingers again to open up the front of the shoulders. The arm part is optional. You can even just have your hands resting on your thighs the whole time. And your breath remains long and deep. Maybe the eyes are closed. Again, I really encourage you to stay in these poses longer. And so to come out, I'm going to stretch the backs of the legs now and open up the back of the body by folding forward. I'm sitting on a blanket, which really helps. It's not necessary. It does help. And I have my hands at my hip crease, and I'm inhaling, rolling the shoulders back. And on the exhale, I'm going to start to fold from my hip crease. That's why my hands are there. It's just a reminder not to let my upper and mid back fold. Move with your breath. Every time you exhale, see if there's more space that opens up. And then allow the hands to drop down wherever they would like. Hands on the feet. And if folding forward like this just seems very painful for your back, or the backs of your legs are tight, you don't have to fold this far. You can have your hands on your shins, hands on the floor, hands on shins with a nice long spine. Head is neutral with the rest of the spine. Hands on the thighs. It doesn't matter how forward the fold is. It's more about length in the spine and folding from the hip crease. You'll feel the backs of the legs open. Slowly releasing. And bringing the knees into the chest, rocking yourself. And then exhale as you push the knees away to straighten the arms. Hands stay on the knees. Exhale as the knees come in towards you. Inhale, push the knees away. Exhale, bring them in. Give yourself a good squeeze. So this pose, this movement is wonderful for creating circulation and blood flow in the digestive tract. If you're having a hard time digesting something, if digestion is slow, this is wonderful. So the Vata types tend to have a hard time with constipation, and this is great for helping constipation, helps to move stuff around in your digestive tract. And taking the knees in, rocking again. Great movement for the morning time to encourage elimination. And we're going to move into an upper body twist. So the knees are tucked up close and bottom arm is a pillow for your head, hand on the waist. Take a full breath in. On the exhale, allow the elbow to fall back behind you. Upper body falls back behind you. If the elbow touches the floor, you can comfortably leave it there. If the shoulder touches down, go ahead and extend the arm, maybe looking toward that hand. If the shoulder doesn't touch, I recommend not taking the arm out. You just don't want extra pressure on the front of that shoulder. And then moving to the other side when you're ready, supporting your head with your arm. Hand on the waist, deep breath in, exhale, allow the twist to take place. So with twisting, the slower the better. You want to make sure that your spine is okay with it. And stay focused with the breath. Feel that wonderful opening in that left side of the chest and the shoulder. Making your way to your back and taking hold of your eye cover, whatever it is, an eye pillow, a small towel. And stretching your legs forward, separating your legs and feet hip width distance, allowing the feet to fall open away from each other. And the eye covers are great so that you are not distracted by the eyes. Tuck the shoulder blades under, palms face up to the ceiling. Take a full breath in through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Close the mouth and return back to your natural breath. Letting go of ujjayi breath. Allowing yourself to soften and surrender here in Shavasana. So this practice is not intended to take place of your regular exercise program. This is just a short practice so that you can have some time to focus on you in a calm and quiet manner. Your time with yourself, which we don't get a lot of these days. It's a time to go inside. As we come out of Shavasana, taking the knees into the chest, rocking yourself from side to side and then rolling onto your side in the fetal position. Staying cuddled up with yourself and then climbing yourself up. I like to end my practice by acknowledging the strength and the flexibility, both physically and mentally, and emotionally as well. Namaste.